My 34 male toxic marriage is crumbling. We have a newborn child from an accidental pregnancy and my wife 35 female wants us to stay together another 2 years for him. I don't know if I can keep it up. We've been married for 10 years. We married early and both had little relationship experience or emotional maturity. The relationship was toxic. She was controlling and occasionally emotionally abusive. I was needy and saw jumping through her hoops as a sign of relationship progress. Our ex-life was non-existent maybe 5 times in the first year of marriage. Neither of us were able to communicate well with each other. She punished me whenever I said things she didn't like, and I withdrew. I had a string of affairs for escape and revenge. Whenever she hurt me, I would think at least I deserve it. She's from a traditional Asian background and of the view that all men cheat. She never seemed to care that much about the actual cheating, and was more worried about the social shame and especially any risk that I might leave her. Both of us have admitted not wanting to get married in the first place. But whereas I've wanted a divorce as long as I can remember, she believes in just sucking it up. It was always hard to bring up divorce in this environment. We almost agreed to one time, but she changed her mind and in our country no-fault divorce is not an option. So I couldn't leave without her consent. Instead we went for counseling. While the counseling helped and my wife started treating me better, it didn't solve the fundamental issues around connection and communication. She accidentally got pregnant. Neither of us had really wanted children but she felt a duty to her parents to have one so I relented. I had another affair when she was heavily pregnant. Although upset by the distraction from her pregnancy rather than the actual affair, she again shrugged it off and wanted us to stay together. I wasn't expecting to, but I fell for this new woman in a way I haven't before. Between this affair and the realization that even after counseling this marriage was still unbearable, I was finally motivated to confront this marriage. My wife appears to have relented to getting a divorce now that she has a child to show for it. However, she says she wants us to wait 2 years so that we can focus on our new baby. It sounds logical on paper. We're both good enough at bottling up our emotions, and living together for now would make taking care of our newborn much easier. However, early parenting is a lonely 24/7 job, and while I love our child, the fact that I didn't plan to be a father makes the need for emotional support and intimacy that I don't get from my wife all the more important. My wife has agreed that we can live our own lives outside our parental duties, but her actions make it hard to believe her. She hints that she would like us to reconcile and stay married. The physical aspects of my affair with S ended, but she continued to be a source of emotional support. Despite my wife accepting reluctantly that I could stay in touch, she decided to directly harass S, even sending messages to senior executives at S's work calling her a with or and homewrecker. S has understandably cut contact. She blew up after a recent counseling session, including throwing heavy objects at me, hitting me, and telling me she would harass anyone I saw for the rest of my life. She consistently believes she has the right to decide whether any future partner of mine is allowed to see our child, even after any eventual divorce. When I told her that she can't legally do that, she threatened to spend whatever it takes on lawyers to make it happen. She has the means to do so. She recently used our child as a weapon against me, refusing to take care of him for 2 days so that I wouldn't have time to think about dating. What's different now is that the law is changing soon to allow no-fault divorce, and I have recordings of her throwing things at me and threatening me, which could allow me to initiate a divorce regardless of her wishes. So right now it looks like I have 2 choices. 1, suck it up and be a parent for 2 years with minimal emotional support, essentially in zombie mode. I would be very hesitant to get close to anyone new since I don't want them to get hurt from this insanity. 2, escalate into what could be a very ugly divorce battle now, in the hopes of being able to move on with my life and parent my child from a place of happiness. Financially, our child won't be wanting. We're both financially successful and her family is extremely wealthy. Obviously parenthood is about more than this, and despite how terrible we have been to each other, I genuinely believe my wife does love our child and does try to do what's best for him. I am looking for advice on the best decision on the choice I have to make. Edit. 1 important note: I live in the UK where adultery is not generally considered a factor in divorce proceedings, whether for financial settlements or custody. Edit. 2 I want to be clear that my wife is no longer horrible on a daily basis. She's very good at keeping up an image of decency and friendliness as long as I toe the line. The issue is more that, in the absence of real support and love, being an accidental parent becomes a very lonely and unfortunately a depressing experience. You have already left your marriage, so I'm not even addressing those issues. Divorce and move on. At this point the 2 of you need to focus on continuing counseling in order to become better co-parents. Your child is not a weapon to use against each other. Parenting is hard. Even strong and loving marriages go through tough times during the first couple of years adjusting to the new responsibility. If the 2 of you do not start compromising, communicating and practicing kindness towards each other, your kid won't stand a chance at having a healthy and loving childhood. Second story. My ex 30 female kicked me 27 male out of our house to date other people and now wants me back. I don't know what to do. So context around Labor Day. My then fiancée told me that she was starting to have feelings for women and might want an open relationship and that she had been feeling this way for months. I was devastated. My uncle came to move me out of the house that night, but she and I reconciled and agreed to figure things out together. After a week of a lot of talking, I felt pretty confident that we had come to some idea of how to handle it. Then while I was on lunch at work, she told me that she wanted to pursue a relationship with her female boss and was ending our engagement and canceling our wedding, which was only about a month away. I had 30 days to move out. I laughed and moved out that night. Over the weekend, she called me and sent me a long email about how it was all a mistake and she didn't want to date women at all and definitely didn't want to date another person anyway. She screwed up and wanted me back because she realized how stupid she was being. It was her taking a lot of responsibility for not communicating and hurting me. It's been a couple months. We've talked quite a bit. I've always made it clear that trust is broken and it will take a lot of work to rebuild it, and I don't know if I can trust her again. She is telling me about how she wants to have kids and wants to make it work and wants to get married next year and how it will all be fine. I move into my own apartment this coming week and she is telling me to give it up and move back into the house. I am conflicted. I love her, but I also got shafted real bad and don't fully trust her not to do it again. What do I do? Too long didn't read fiancé wants to date other people, especially women, kicks me out of our house, regrets it and wants me back. And now we are 3 months later and she wants me to get out of a lease to move back in. Edit with an update, told her to get bent as one commenter put it. Felt like crap doing it, because I do still love her, but after all is said and done, I knew it was the right decision. Thanks to everyone for helping me get my head on straight. I can be a pretty smart person, at least I like to think so, but romance is definitely my weakness, too trusting and loving. I am going to move on with my life and continue building for me. Also got a great dog to keep me company. And he's pretty happy not having to share attention anymore. You can't have someone that untrustworthy in your life as a romantic partner. It sounds like her plans didn't work out, so she is using you as her plan B. Can you live with knowing you are her fallback plan? Third story. Wife cheated and manipulated our kids. I don't know what to do. Also posted on our relationship advice. Thought here I could find more help. Me 34 male and my wife 33 female have been married for 11 years. We have 2 children together, 10 male 11 female. We were together for 15 years. I earn a decent living and earn up to 400-500k a year. But at times, I have to do projects which require traveling. Our marriage was good with several ups and downs. In October 2019, I had to travel to Europe for work. I stayed there for a month. When I got back from the work, everybody was a bit distant and cold towards me. They didn't came to receive me at airport. I had to call an Uber. They ignored my talks and only communicated with me when necessary. I had doubts, so I asked my daughter, why is she acting rude towards me? She just said, hope you had fun at your business trip. This was out of her character. Few days pass and I am confused about the situation. I asked my wife multiple times about their behavior. She always said that they were tired of long day at school. One night, I was checking my email on my family iMac. As I was finishing my work, I noticed that my wife's account is logged in. I thought of opening messages. I saw that one of her colleagues was on the top. I opened their conversation and scrolled through entire page, seeing their flirting, s-ing and exchanging nudes. They planned on meeting at hotels. Apparently, she had ended things with him because she was feeling too guilty about it. I confronted her. She cried and begged me to give her another chance. I had anger issues in past, so I simply took a drive to my brother's house and spent the night there. Next day when I came home, kids had already gone to school. She asked me to sit down on the couch to talk. She said that she was feeling alone at the time and he apparently made her feel special. I asked her about timeline and said that if she lied, I would give her divorce. She told me every detail. She had sex with him once at the end of affair. She felt disgusted afterwards. She said she had too much guilt and ended things with him. I told her that I would divorce her. I contacted lawyer and told him to start preparing the papers, as we had a prenup signed, so divorce was an easy option. I went to my room and opened my Mac to collect some proof of her infidelity. To my surprise, she had deleted all of it. Next day, she threatened me to not divorce her or she will take away our kids. She told them in the beginning of my work trip that I had an affair and had gone to see my girlfriend when in reality, I had gone for work. She made fake conversations of me and other girl. She also told them that I would leave them alone on streets to be with my girlfriend. She had manipulated them so much that they were convinced that I was the bad guy. In our country, if parents get a divorce, then the custody of children would be given to the parent by kid's choice. I was helpless at this point. I canceled divorce and proceeded to reconcile. It's been almost a year that I am going through this shit. My kids don't respect me like they used to. They don't show affection. My wife has been keeping the secret from my children. She also has been treating me like a crap. Our bedroom is dead and I haven't had sex in 7-8 months. Because of all the stress at home, I stay out of home most of the time. I go home only to sleep at night. This led to an emotional connection with one of my colleagues for past month. She is also divorced. Her husband cheated on her and left her for another girl in another continent. We have long talking sessions, dinners, and movie nights. I have been deprived of love and affection at my own home. I have told my wife to start showing affection. I try to kiss her, hug her, but I am always turned down. Last week, I got intimate with my colleague. This was first time ex I was having in 9-10 months. It was the best ex of my life. I have come here looking for an advice. Should I divorce my wife and be with my colleague? Or should I just live this double life? I have never been loved or appreciated in my home, but my colleague appreciates everything I do for her. If I leave my family, then my kids will think that their mom's claims were right. I will be the bad guy in the eyes of my kids for life. Any advice? Hit like. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to our channel.